What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Wildstar. Today we're going to be looking at the medic, not as DPS, but as a healer in PvP. So let's get started right into it. Now, one important thing to know for PvP is that as a medic healer, you cannot just go all heals. It's unfortunate. I mean, you can. Let's be honest. You can do anything you want, but when you get into like Bloodsworn Temple, I believe it's called, or Bloodsworn whatever it is, and you're healing people, and all of a sudden you're left to defend by yourself, and you have no abilities to stop someone to come in from taking that base from you, or that node from you, so you're stuck just looking at them, like giving them a wave, like, hey, come on in. So, to start off, we go with Discharge. I don't put any points into it. It's just to stop any pressure from anybody trying to ninja a flag or anything like that. Let's say you're stuck by yourself, or there needs to be a little bit of support. So you discharge, that way you can actually just still have an attack along with being able to heal. So then we'll go to support here. Now, Emission is a very important spell, because Emission is like your discharge, but for healing. So with Emission, it's basically the same thing as discharge, but it's healing instead of doing damage, and it restores a certain amount of health to yourself and 4 allies and grants 1 stack of power charge every 0.41 seconds. Now, I put in as many points as I could into that because that is that's your go-to heal. For DPS, you have Discharge that you're going to be using anytime anything is on cooldown, for healing, this is going to be your thing that you're going to be using anytime anything is on cooldown. So, you want to put as many points as you possibly can because you're going to be using it a lot. Now, Crisis Wave is one of your biggest heals. It's very expensive. It costs 2 actuators and 35 focus, so it is a very expensive heal, but it is a very strong heal. So you want to put in as many points as you possibly can into that. You can go with Dual Shock, but for this build, I'm not really going to focus on Dual Shock. It's more of just being able to, just focusing on healing and not worrying about procs or anything like that. And now we go to Mending Probes. Mending Probes is a very good spell. It's just a quick instance cast. It's 18 focus, and it puts probes on every ally to yourself and 4 allies, restores health, and it's just an amazing overall spell. So that's your your heal over time. Now, again, you can do Triage, but I think that it's more of a focus target heal, and so it's not really that important. If you see yourself in dungeons if you see yourself in situations that you're more by yourself, Triage is very good, but instead of using that, I just went for Flash, and basically I put all the points into Flash, but basically how Flash works is you restore 826 health to yourself and 9 allies. It costs 25 focus, and it is instant, so it's a giant box that just, boom, everybody's healed. And it's a great ability. Again, you can switch it out depending on what kind of situation you're in. If you're on single target more, then Triage is definitely going to be a little bit better, but Flash is one of those ones that's just very helpful. So finally, for our last heal here, is actually not a heal, but more of a barrier. It does heal a little bit, but it's more for restoring your shield. So it's called Barrier. It restores 1150 shield plus 391 health over 2 seconds and grants 1 interrupt armor for 3 allies in target areas for 10 seconds. That is a mouthful. I did put a point into that. It's a very strong ability. Basically how that works, I'll show you here real quick. So with Barrier, you have the control to put it where you want to. Once you've put it down, you want to target it onto actual people, because if you target it onto something, it's not going to help you out. So when you target it onto somebody, that comes up. It shows their barrier recharging, their shields are recharging, and oh my goodness, it is amazing. The interrupt armor rating protect against this number of CCs. It's just an all-around really good ability. So that's it for your heals. Your final ability is going to be your stun. Now, like I said, you don't really need a stun as a healer, but it is always good to, just for that extra pressure, help out your team, things like that. Didn't put any points into it because it's just a stun for now, and I'll put some points into it later, but for now it's just that quick stun that your team needs, or that you need to get away, or you need to heal extra, whatever it is. Always a good ability. So that's it for your abilities. Now we'll go to amps. So obviously for amps, you first want to put all your first points into increasing your support power. Support power is it makes your heal stronger. It's what the medic healer needs to survive, basically. So I put those first 3 points into support power, And then I went with reduce focus cost of all spells by 2%, and that is very helpful because these spells you're using are going to be very expensive, so that's kind of an important thing to look out for. The next thing is increase focus recovery rating by 0.1 per second. So that's going to increase your focus rating, or increase your time, and it's just going to make your focus come back a lot quicker, and thus getting more heals out. So I did go ahead and put a point into reboot because we do have barrier. Reboot basically is using shield surge on, or it's basically using shield surge or barrier on an ally with a depleted shield, restores 690 or 679 shield in addition to their normal shield healing. Now you can decide not to go into this. For me, I enjoy using reboot because it makes that shield surge, or that makes that barrier a lot stronger, and it's very helpful. But you don't need to. In fact, I like to sometimes take it off because you can put those extra points anywhere you want to and help a little bit more. But the next 3 points I went to increase hit severity by 4%. So basically how that works is when you hit somebody with a heal, that crit is going to hit, but it depends on how much that crit's going to hit for. So this increases how much that is going to crit for, which is amazing because you're critting a lot as a medic healer. I put excuse me, I put an extra point into critical hit chance, so more of a chance for those big heals to hit. You can do some play with this, and there's obviously no set builds or anything like that. PvP offensive, there's a lot of issues going on with PvP offensive right now, and I just don't want to trust with it as far as healing goes. It's not very good for healing in PvP as far as medic goes, and so I'm not going to put any points into it or life stealing or anything like that. I may put some points in to increase CC resilience later on down the road, because as a healer you're going to be getting focused a lot and be a lot of stuns. So the more points you have in that, the less time the CCs hit and the less time they last. So it's very important to have something like that. So that's it for amps and abilities. I just want to show you guys real quick what these abilities are real quick. So you first have your discharge here, and it's your basic attack. Just to keep that pressure off, nobody's ninja capping right next to you. And emission is your heal. It's just like discharge, but you're going to constantly heal, and it heals for a crap ton if you continue using. Now crisis wave, I'll show you that real quick. Crisis wave, you've got time to cast it, and make sure you're in a line with somebody. You don't want these heals missing, trust me, they're very expensive. When it does hit, it hits huge, and it's always going to be a good heal, but it is very expensive, so be careful how you do that. Now, for mending probes, you see right here when I hover over it, you see the square that it's in. So anywhere you're going to be around, mending probes will hit, and then you have that little probe that comes up, that annoying little sound that it makes every 1 second or so, kind of annoying. And then the next one would be flash, and flash is just the same thing as mending probes. It makes that square, and anybody in that square is going to get instantly healed for a crap ton. It is amazing. And the final one is barrier, which barrier you have a chance to, when you click it, it will come up as a square, and then you can move around your mouse, it'll stay on that, and then click it onto somebody or a certain group of people, and it will bring their shields back up and give them this awesome buff. And the final one obviously is your paralytic surge, which is a stun. Stun's in that little prism looking thing, and it's just an amazing ability to help you out. Well, the last thing I want to talk about is your stats. Tech is for DPS in PvP for medics. Insight is for support power. So right now I'm wearing my DPS gear, and I'll put on my Insight gear, and it goes all the way up. But you want gear with Insight on it. It's very important to have that Insight on there, and it makes your heals go up more and more. See, if I had Insight, these heals would be doing 3 times as much, so it'd be like 400s and things like that. So it's a lot better to have that Insight, because it's so amazing for PvP. Unfortunately, PvP offensive doesn't work very well for healers, so hopefully they'll fix that. Not too sure on the news on that, but hopefully this helps you out. And if it does, just leave a like and a comment, and then go ahead and subscribe, and you see some awesome more videos on Wildstar and other games like that. And we're doing some really freaking awesome giveaways. So we will see you next time.